Hi everybody, thank you for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe. That's going to be the red R towards the bottom right. Don't forget to leave us some comments, give us a like, share these videos. And today's topic, we're going to go over the volt test on a CTL board. Now the reasons you might need to do this is you probably got a message on your display that says CTL USB error, serial communication error, or error code 900. I'm going to show you guys how to remove that CTL board and how to check that with a voltmeter. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we're going to power the machine down from the front and also remove the power cord from the back. Okay, now that we got the machine turned off, we're going to have to remove a couple of covers. So the first thing we got to do is remove the top cover. There's going to be 2 screws in the front, one here on the right, one on the left, 3 towards the back of the machine on top, and then this cover gets removed. You also have a cover that goes on top of the CTL board. So that cover is going to have 4 screws. There's going to be 2 screws here towards the back and 2 here on top. Mine's already removed, so that's how it should look like once you have yours removed. That cover should be gone as well. On my machine, I don't put the cover back on, so it's always exposed. If I do put the cover on there, I only put the 2 screws here on top because getting to those back ones is a little hard. Okay, so now that we got that removed, let's go ahead and disconnect some cables. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to disconnect the small ribbon cable right here. There's a little clip right here on top. Just carefully with your nail, raise that clip 90 degrees. You don't want to go beyond that because you can damage that. Carefully pull out that ribbon cable. Once you have it out, make sure the little leads here or the gold pieces are nice and straight. There's none of them missing or look burnt. Next, we're going to grab these cables right here, nice and tight. Shift left to right as you pull towards you. There's going to be a USB cable over here. Pull that guy out. We're also going to remove some ribbon cables, and those are towards the center of the board. Now, same thing as the other ribbon cable. These come up with this little latch here, 90 degrees, and pull that out. Okay. So if you look at this cable right here, something to keep note of. You see this little green tape? It should be nice and straight. It shouldn't look offset. So if you see more green tip on one end than the other, then your connection is offset and that needs to be reconnected or reinserted. Okay, those ones are off. You're going to have some connections towards the back of the board. First, we're going to start with this purple cable right here. Just pull that out. This multi-colored cable right here, again, pull that one out. Now this one right here is going to be a little bit tricky. Let me show you how that one works out. So it's going to be that black connector with that beige cable right there, with that beige connection. So what you want to do, you want to get your nail or a flathead screwdriver and put it between this black connector and the beige part right here. And it's going to push that part out of there, kind of like a little wedge. See how that comes out? So it's going to carefully push that out. There you go. Last but not least, you're going to have 3 more cables. Those are going to be towards the right of the printer. I'm going to pull this guy right here. This one has a little latch on it, so you got to make sure you push it on that latch to release it as you pull out. This one here is a little tricky. You want to hold that nice and tight. You want to shift left to right, up and down, kind of get that loose connection, and then pull that cable out of there. Okay, once you got all those cables removed, we are going to have 6 screws. There's going to be here 2 towards the left, 2 in the center, 2 towards the right. Let's go ahead and get those removed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Alright, now before we take this board out of here, quick notes. See these little flaps right here? The board sits underneath those, so it's going to sit on top of these little posts right here, but underneath the little flaps. When you bring this back in, you want to bring it in this way and lay it down. Now when you bring it in, make sure all these cables are sticking out. Make sure none of these cables went underneath the board or tucked away underneath the board, especially these ones right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this board out. We're going to bring it over to our platen. And I'm going to show you guys what we're going to be checking. We're going to be checking 2 fuses and 8 transistors. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring my camera down here. So we can get you guys a good eye view of this. A little bird's eye view. Alright. I think we got it there. Too focused. Okay, right there. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna get a voltmeter and we're gonna set this to point. Okay, so this is our multimeter right here. Now I'll leave some links in the description below of some other multimeters you can buy at a Home Depot or at a Lowe's. So first we want to do point to point. We want to make sure these two pins touch each other, and you should hear a little beeping sound. That means there's power going through both of these tips. Okay, put that to one side. Now we're going to get that fuse on the CTL board and we're going to check it. Right here. Okay, so you can see there's a small little label. It says fuse 2. It's the letter F, the letter U, the number 2. You follow that little arrow, and it's going to be this little component right here. It's kind of small. What you got to do, you got to pinch it from both ends. You can see there it's making noise. I mean there's power going through that fuse. We're going to flip the board around and we're going to find fuse 7, which would be right here. See there? Fuse 7. Okay? Again, we're going to set that board down and we're going to go ahead and pinch that component. So that's good right there. Next, we're going to check the transistors. Now these right here control the power or the voltages going to the print heads. We're going to set our voltmeter to ohms. And we're going to check these one by one. I'm going to put my meter right here so you guys can see how that changes. Okay, that's 5.8. Now I'm getting my red probe here, putting in the pin to the far left, and the black probe is going to go into my center pin. Here, come on. Okay, that's 0. Five. Okay, that one's 0. That one is 0. Five, 9. 0. 6. Oh, no, 5, 8. Okay. And 0. Okay. Alright, so by doing this test, we see that 2 of these are not working. These 2 are working, so you should see a number on there. Now, the number is going to depend on the voltmeter that you're using, but what you want to look for is you want to have a constant number. So if these say 21, it should be about 21, 22 all the way across. Mine are about 5.8, 5.9, so that means they're reading. Now, if any of these 2 fuses, the one number 7 and fuse number 2 are damaged, that has to do with the carriage, the HRB board behind the carriage. That's what kind of reads the encoder. Now, if you have those fuses and some transistors damaged, that's going to be a combination of that fuse in the back of the carriage and also the print heads. They might be leaking, they create a short. It can be anywhere from you might have had a clog and you tried to recover it and your ink or your carriage started leaking ink. That could get into the heads and it can blow out or short your CTL board. Alright, well this is a good indication of both of those parts need to get changed. Once again, guys, if you have any kind of questions, please call Ricoh Tech Support. Start a case with them, especially if your machine's under warranty. You don't want to be tinkering in the machine on your own. You want to make sure everything's documented. Hope this helps. Thank you guys for joining us and have a good day.